Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. And today I'm driving something special. I've been driving it for a few days now, and this is the Charger Hellcat that you might know from the channel Drivetribe, driven by Richard Hammond as a daily car. And he's done around 32,000 kilometers on it, which equals I think 18,000 miles. And along the way it got a few scratches, where I will go through with you guys over in a bit. 6.2 liter supercharged Hemi SRT tuned engine, 717 horsepower from factory, but they actually measured it on a dyno in Drivetribe, and the output was 751 brake horsepower, which is interesting. That's around 35, or let's say 30 horsepower more than it should come from factory. For the rest, what did they do? Obviously the color change. The wrap is in a BMW color blue, I heard. I don't know the exact name. That's it. If you know, then please comment down below. Besides that, they put Michelin tires on it. So it's a Michelin Pilot Sport Pro 4, if I'm correct, which have, I would say, quite a bit more grip, especially in wet conditions. So on dry conditions I think it's around the same as the Pirellis that are standard on the car, but when it's wet out, then the conditions are actually better with these tires. Easier to drive, better to handle, and less, let's say, the back comes out less than with the Pirellis, because then you have zero grip. Obviously the wrap is done. You can see on some parts still the original paint, like here, of course, when you open the doors as well. And it's also letting loose, or letting go already at some parts of the body. Fortunately you have this, let's say, protection foil for stones and whatnot on this car standard. For the rest, of course, it came with the beautiful spoiler that Hammond bought. Looks amazing. What else did I notice driving this car? The front brakes are completely gone, or let's say warped, because when you hit the brakes the car starts to shake, especially on higher speeds when you have to slow down. Hello. So the engine runs a little hot. I noticed that when you push the car to like higher speeds, top speed, and there's enough coolant in the car. That's not the case. I have no clue why this is happening. There's also enough oil. The pressure is good of the oil as well, and temperature by normal use is also okay. Just when you push it to like 300 kilometers an hour, it starts going up. It shouldn't do that. I drove many Hellcats and they never really run hot, so there's some issue there. I got a souvenir from, or I saw a souvenir on the car, which is, I think, the logo or a reminder of the smallest cork, the workshop of Richard Hammond. And I think that's about it, things I found on the outside. Of course, any Hellcat drives really good, really amazing. We will take it for a spin in a bit. And if you guys have any suggestions what I should do for the rest with this car the coming days, please let me know down below. Comment and give a thumbs up if you like the videos that I make. Oh, and there was one more souvenir that Richard forgot to take out. His seat. But I don't need it, since I'm 1.90 m. So we're on the way, and one thing you have to do in any Hellcat, when you get the opportunity to do so, you have an empty or an almost empty intersection, you have the space, as here. You can put the traction control on sport, wait till the cars are passing, and I would say do what the Hellcat does best. Leave the intersection with smoke, which is fun. So, as I said, I'm happy it didn't end up in a junkyard, it didn't get crashed, and it's still in one piece. That gives us the opportunity to test out this car a bit. It's a very fun one. It's basically the same as any other Hellcat that I drove. Maybe you watch the videos also from Drivetribe, which I also will put links to in the description down below. But it's definitely a fun car. Any Charger, any Challenger, any Hellcat basically is a very fun car to drive. And we can do that one more time. There was a little puddle in the road, but hey, we came through. There we go. All right, here we go, off to the highway. So I got a few things to tell you before we start off. First of all, I never trust the, let's say, dashboard kilometers or speed reference. So I put today, also easier for you guys to see from this camera, the speed in GPS. And actually, they're quite similar. So let's see how we'll go on higher speeds. Besides that, they gave the charger back with a battery that's empty. They changed the tires, but they forgot to they put Michelin tires on it, which is actually quite good compared to the Pirelli tires on dry tarmac. It's good, like the Pirellis I would say, and on semi-wet it's way better with way more grip. But overall, I even have the little spoiler here from Hammonds that he put on the back, which doesn't stick good enough to last on the back, since we're gonna try and put a new top speed on the car, which is done now by me as well, but not on camera, although not on this video. 308 kilometers an hour. So let's see what we can put on. There's one minor problem with this. Since it got back the car, it runs hot. So not really when you drive normally with it, but when you drive with it, when you push the car, it really runs hot, and you can see that on the temperature as well. Overall, of course, Hellcats are super fun. They're amazing to drive, and even with these tires who have more grip, it's still good to drift a little bit with the cars, which is fun to do. And in essence, that's what they're made for. So let's see what this little Charger can do. 6.2 liter V8 supercharged engine, and the funny thing is, normally these engines have around 700 and I think formerly 711 or 717, depends a bit if you look at American horsepower or European ones. But Drivetribe put this car on the dyno, and they got an output of 751 horsepower, which is around, let's say, 30 or 35 horsepower more than it says from the factory, which is interesting. Let's see if these extra horsepower come to place and what we can do with it. So this car is fitted with the NAP exhaust. I think it's a German producer, if I'm honest, I'm not entirely sure. There's a full exhaust under it, but just after the manifold, the two manifolds from the engine, there's a little pipe going. If you open the button, or if you open the exhaust, choosing the button here, click it, then you always have this lovely sound that only wants to go forward. And this is something you just want to keep doing if you put the exhaust open. And now I notice again that Drivetribe, you completely up the discs, the brakes. But this is what I mean, this 6.2 liter V8 engine is screaming the joy out of everything. And then we go back on the highway. So, let's see. And this thing is just incredible fast. So at the moment it's using around 500, 450 kilowatts. 250. It's a little bit bumpy, this section of the highway. And now you see I was just about to say that you see the temperature of the engine going up. You can see it on the left side here. And the fun thing in track mode is that with every shift that you do, you feel the car clutching and getting the full power on again in a really, let's say, racy way. You really feel the hit of the clutch, the hit of the gearbox. Every time it's a little pat in the back of, let's go. So I'm afraid today is a little bit too busy to really push the high speed. But overall it's a really fun car to drive. The good thing is that people see this thing coming in this color and the aggressive nose, they just go most of the times out of the way. And because you don't see a lot of American cars on the road here, I really get crazy responses from people on the road. I've seen people hanging out of the window with 2 thumbs up, that it's crazy, they want you to rev, they want you to race, they want you to show this car off in its natural habitat, which is really fun to do, of course. Hit 300, but I can't see well over the hill here, so I have to do a little bit down since the discs of this car is not really going well. And this is, now you hear the entire car shaking. This is exactly what I expected with the fan and the camper. So if you break down from a higher speed and you still feel the disc vibrating now, the entire car shakes. If I put the brakes now, you hear the entire car shaking. If they cool off again, it goes back to normal. But if you do this more and more over, it only gets worse and worse, so it's something that really needs to get fixed. But you don't lose any brake power to select this, or not a lot. It's just the feeling, the sound that you think, okay, this car is gonna either explode or implode, or something is massively going wrong soon. But overall, it's not something that's really